SOT currently on the first lap of the session with a 12.1 first sector and a 30.4, so it's looking like a pretty good lap for SOT, but let's ride on board with him in the final sector, and SOT drifting a bit into that infamous hairpin from 2018. We saw Sebastian Vettel crash there, but SOT keeps it under control and through the final few corners, keeping it flat out up to the line at a 1 minute 0.8, and that's going to be the benchmark for the other drivers to beat, and Nura just behind him. Let's see now, he's coming into the third sector as well, and he's going to keep it almost flat out through this right-hander, but that might have been a little bit too wide for the Red Bull driver. That might be an invalidation, but let's see now up to the line through the final few corners as Moto goes up to P1 with a 1 minute 0.6, and does Nuras go even faster? Yes, he does, a 1 minute 0.4. Let's see, coming into the second sector, what time was this for Dungeon? He has a 12.1 first sector, so he is on pace through there, but let's see, is this going to be a purple second sector for Dungeon? No, it isn't, a 30.8, so that's 4/10 off what the front runners are doing, so this hasn't been too good of a lap for Dungeon, and he aborts the lap there.
Still waiting to see what this man, the flying Swede Weissai, will do. Or as I've nicknamed him, the Bullet. He's known to have some really good one-lap pace, and he'll pull something out of the hat. So this upcoming lap will be very interesting to see. Flamed goes across the line, a 1 minute 7 dead.
Well, there's only 7 minutes on the clock, and Weissai, as I say that, he goes up to P2.
1 minute 05. That's a strong lap time. Under a 10th behind Nura. But Nura's the surprise driver, I would say, here, because you don't see him as often anymore in these big leagues. And now, all of a sudden, he's topping the timetables here in Hockenheim. So it's good to see. Thanks in the McLaren goes P3. Get on.
Back to the Japanese driver, Yushi, coming through the third sector. You can see his tires smoking there, using the brake bias to get the rotation through the corner, but now through the front of corners, keeps it nice and tight through there, but maybe he kept it a bit too tight, but no, he hasn't. He goes up to P3 with a 1 minute 0.6 ahead of Thax. That's a really good lap from him.
So let's run you through the grid order for today. Well, Speed for Ages is at the back in the Red Bull, and looking up, in 10th is Dungeon from Steve in the V-Carb, SOT in the Ferrari, from Alan in the McLaren, Flamed in the Williams, and then the top 5 is Moto in the Mercedes, Thax in the McLaren, and then Yushi in the V-Carb, Weissai in the Mercedes, a championship favourite for sure. And on pole, it's surprisingly Nura for this race. New drivers, new cars, and the fastest 18 drivers in the world fighting it out. And where else to start but good old sweet home Hockenheim? Let's go racing! Nura gets a good start, but Weissai gets an even better one, and Weissai gets the whole shot into one as Nura goes off the track a bit. Moto there in the battle as well. Is that Thax up ahead in the peloton fighting for second, but it's the Bullet Weissai leading. From Thax, Nura just sticking it out in third. But Alan's in the mix now too. A Red Bull's there as well. And Moto, never discount him. Down to turn 6 now. And the hairpin. And Weissai, he's got no one fighting him. But he's got many people behind him to have a go, to potentially have a lunge if they can escape the peloton. Moto behind the McLaren of Thax. And side by side with the Red Bull of Nura. And I think he's just going to stick it out here. Yes, donning the Sebastian Vettel helmet with the German flag on it. Here in Hockenheim, he can just stick it out to third and just stay in front of Nura. Lap 1 done. Lap 2 begins of 30, and Thax is in second, surprisingly, but it's Weissai leading.
Oh, we got a little bit of position change in between Steve and his teammate Yushi. You can see that.
Yushi, ooh, getting battling up this. And
Dungeon's there as well.
And this is a big moment here for Yushi's Project Apex career, because he now, on his debut in AWC, battling for a top 5 with his teammate, This is an unbelievable start for the Visa Cash App RB riders. Don't discount that. And Yushi might even get 4th on debut. Now, who can believe that? Now, I'm quite surprised about this. Dungeon, who was quite disappointing in qualifying earlier today, he's now up there, so he could even get a top 5 in his Scarlet Ferrari. Although it's going to take time before we can call him a fast driver in that car as he goes over the sausage curb there. Because he struggled in qualifying. He's not really able to prove his pace yet.
Now Moto, he's right with Weissai, and that's going to be a really good opportunity to get the move done for the lead. He has DRS coming into the hairpin, and Weissai, he drifts into the hairpin there. And I think that might be a track limit for Weissai, and he's down into P2.
Oh, yeah. And that's lost him so much time in. And Moto now takes the lead in Hockenheim on lap 8 of 30.
Yushi coming in just as his teammate did a lap earlier. So yeah, we're seeing it once again. We're seeing a split in strategies between the drivers here.
It's very interesting here. So it's really the V-Cub's going for the undercut here to try and gain track position, I think. And Moto is getting the pressure on from his teammate. He's called the bullet for a reason, and using the switch back into turn 6 takes the lead back. I said Moto could run away with it. Never mind. Weissai leads again in Hockenheim. Only 2 laps after his big mistake. And once again, a third into this race this time. The Silver Arrows swap position. So it's very interesting strategy-wise. It's very interesting down at pit road.
And look at that. The Mercedes are pitting. Let's see what tire it's soft. Moto going all the way to the last pit lane and is also going for a soft. Let's see what they'll do with the quickest tires.
And Dungeon's in. Forget what I said about Dungeon. He's pitted and Nura has as well, which means it's Alan in the Papaya McLaren who inherits the lead here at the Hockenheim ring. And it's a Classica of a Mercedes pit stop. The double stack has worked perfectly for the 2 Mercedes, but there's one problem. Weissai's in second, Moto not far behind, but they've got the raging bull, the racing bull of Steve in between them.
Somehow he's still in it, though.
Oh, and Thax has gone a little wide. And now Thax with the DRS. Thax fighting with Yushi still. Dungeon's involved now, and maybe Steve could get in it as well. It's the 2 Mercedes running away with it. But the battle for the podium, unbelievable. And right now, I think it's Dungeon on the podium. But Yushi will still fight. He won't give up. Halfway through this race. And as the team manager for McLaren, I've got to say, I'm really, really rooting for Thax in this moment. Because, oh my lord, what a moment this could be for the Papaya team. Especially when Alan is down in 12th. Thax pushing.
And I think Nura side by side with Thax coming down the straight. Do they get DRS? No, they don't. So it's going to be who's going to be the last of the late breakers coming into the hairpin here. But it looks like
I think it'll be Thax. Thax is a late breaker, but he goes a bit wide, and that shows. And now Nura keeps that P4 just 6 ahead.
Wait, hold up. The lead has been cut into half.
Oh,
the lead has been cut into half.
Late drama for the Silver Arrows. Because now Moto is on the attack. He smells a victory. And I'm sure Weissai is now panicking a little bit inside his car. Because with 3 laps to go, it's not over yet. Let's go around one more time here. Half a second now. Yeah. It's not over. And Moto might have this one. Weissai might have thrown it all away right at the end. DRS for Moto, it's going to be. But the question is, if that gap's not under 5/10s, he might not be able to make a send for it, make a lunge for it, for P1 into turn 6. And he won't. Weissai might have this one.
Yeah, but if Weissai makes any mistake, that's going to cost him to race victory. So is he going to play it safe, or is he going to push flat out? As we see Moto going a bit wide through that corner, that's going to cost him.
I think he's playing it safe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it looks to be Weissai winning.
And as the home crowd in the grandstands come to their feet and applaud, the logo on the centre building watches on as two of their own lead themselves to victory. It's Weissai at the Großer Preis of Deutschland. It's victory for Mercedes. And Weissai, the winner in Germany and the championship leader at the end of round one. Steve in the Visa Cash App RB will take the podium as the Red Bull driver of Nura. The man who should be ahead of him on paper watches on. Yushi on debut takes 8th. Alan in 9th. And hats off to Dungeon from 10th to 5th. Brilliant drive from him overall in the end. And what an ending. What a race here at the Hockenheim Ring.